I'm starting this video pretty awkward again, just like the last one with Romeo, but this time with Cal. And this time he tells me that the sale from the last episode and the door store was rigged. Well, his sale for Barry was rigged. My sale wasn't rigged. You probably haven't seen this, but in the last video, after I was done with my door store sale with Cal, he made a deal with Barry to have Barry buy his wagon for 15 diamonds and an IOU. And that IOU is the one I'm holding right now. But to my surprise, this wasn't Barry's IOU. This was my own.
I give Barry all the credit for that. He was a mad genius in this respect.
He wasn't a genius. He doesn't have my legal permission to sign an IOU.
However, you did agree all sales were final and you agreed to the terms of the sale.
I didn't agree that Barry has the right to sign an IOU.
We also agreed that it was legally binding. That was in the terms.
But wait, the terms never had. The terms didn't even have small print saying that people can.
Agreed. The thing is, you agreed, Barry agreed, I agreed, so it's final.
That's not how it works, though. I didn't agree that Barry has the right to sign an IOU with my own name.
But you agreed to the terms.
That's not part of the terms, though. What does your door store have to do with Barry signing up?
Oh, this has nothing to do with the door store.
Then where are you coming from then?
Well, technically it has something to do with the door store. I mean, like, Barry gave me that as payment.
This is invalid.
With me and Barry. How is it invalid? You agreed to the terms. It was legally binding. That was already made clear.
No. What?
You gave your verbal consent.
That Barry can sign an IOU with my name.
No, you agreed, that all the sales were final and it was legally binding.
But that doesn't mean this IOU is valid, though.
The payment was 15 diamonds and an IOU. It never said anywhere in the fine print that it had to be his IOU.
Well, you got the IOU. That doesn't mean that the IOU actually works because it's invalid. It wasn't signed by me.
Where does it say in the paper that it's invalid?
It's just IOU rules.
I mean, all I'm saying is, was legally binding. You agreed.
Cal, you can't do this to me. You just... How? Why? Why does this even work? And from what basis is this legal? It's not legal. He doesn't have my consent.
You gave your verbal consent to me and him right then and there.
That the sale was legal, but that doesn't mean that the contents of the payment are legal, especially when it comes to IOUs. I didn't sign this. That's not my handwriting. It's ugly. Barry doesn't know how to write in cursive.
Let's see. How would you write an IOU?
I would leave a space between the signature and the name of the IOU.
So you wouldn't use a dash?
I would use a dash, but there would be a space between IOU and dash space pyro. Plus, I would write a 0 and the pyro. No, you're not allowed to do that. No, you can't do this. No, you're not doing this.
Let me finish my work.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed.
Let me finish my work.
Cal, oh, come on. Oh, IOU Barry. I see what you did there.
Now, it's legal.
It is. Now it is valid. Well, kind sir, it's been a pleasure doing business with you. This never happened. I congratulate you with your new item in possession. I shall now farewell. Bye.
Right then.
Now back to your original non-dramatically political OmathaCraft episode, where we start off today's beautiful OmathaCraft day with a skin change. As the winter season is coming, of course, just like last year, I'm gonna be putting in the ice cold pyro skin. Anyways, first thing I actually want to do this morning is not show you what I have been working on recently. Let's turn around for now. But what I do want to do is show you that I have gotten my payment for my job in the last video. If you remember last week, I got a shulker for Romeo from the end to the overworld, and I promised Barry that I would give him 35 diamonds, actually no, it was 40 diamonds, if he helped me with the job. He did offer the help with the price, and we had a little bit of negotiation, and we agreed on 40 diamonds if he helped me with them. Even though I didn't succeed in bringing the shulker to the overworld with him, I'm still gonna give him his payment, so I'm just gonna fly over to his base. I have my 50 diamonds, and I'm I'm gonna give him 40. We came here to deliver some diamonds. So where should I put them? I'm just gonna put them here. Now, the smartest thing to do with my diamonds is save them up and put them in my ender chest. But instead, I came over here to Vapor's shop and bought out all of his white wool and red wool. I now have a shulker box of each, not that one, this one. I have a shulker box of each, but it's not gonna be quite enough for what I need it for in today's episode. While we're over here at Communal, how about we take a look at the great work that's been happening over here. Cal has been going to work over here renovating Communal, and it's really coming together really nicely. We have these pathways going everywhere, pretty much everywhere. For now, let's check out this little Christmas tree over here. As you may know, and as I mentioned, the winter is coming, and to most people on the OmathaCraft server, not including me, it's the festive season. So things like the Secret Santa are going to start now. If you don't know what the Secret Santa is, pause the video right now, give this book a read. I'm gonna be flipping to the next page. Take your time reading through it. If you don't know what the Secret Santa is, it's basically a way of giving gifts to each other secretly and all that. You probably have played it in real life. I have no idea how that works. Again, I don't celebrate the festive season in quotation marks. But anyways, I'm still going to participate in the Secret Santa. I have already put my name through, and now it's about time we head back to base. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you, by the way. If you follow up on my channel and all my other content on my channel, you would see that I released a resource pack recently, that being the Xmas hats resource pack. And guess what? We actually fully implemented the resource pack onto the server, and as you can see, I have my own hats right here. Now, the way we implement these hats onto our server is by simply using a data pack, which is called the custom model data pack. And the way this works is by using the trigger command and then holding, of course, the item which we want to change the custom model data to. Then we use /trigger custom model data set, and then I can set it to whatever value I want. So if I want the red hat, I can set it to 1, and I now have myself a red Santa Claus hat. I'm gonna keep this on for the rest of the video. Now, enough messing about. Now let's start getting some serious progress done. So as I of course mentioned, we need a lot of wool, and since I've already bought out the wool shop, what I've been working on is a sheep farm, the most logical solution to needing tons upon tons of wool. As you can see, I have already started working on designing the sheep farm. I have laid out this little yellow box area where the sheep farm is gonna go, and I've mostly been focusing on the aesthetics of the farm rather than the functionality, because the functionality of sheep farms is really simple. All you really need for a sheep farm module is one dispenser, one redstone dust, and one observer, and I managed to fit it in inside this space. So what I went for are these little platforms which I'm going to have at different elevations. This one is the lowest one, which is pretty much near the ground. It does have scaffolding holding it up. It is a bit elevated off the ground. And then we have the second platform, which is over at this height, which is about 4 blocks. And then I plan on adding 2 more platforms, which are gonna be even taller. So this one is gonna be even taller than that one, and then this last one is gonna be the tallest one of all. And we're gonna end up with 4 platforms at 4 different heights. In my opinion, I think that would really fit the style of the industrial construction site kind of theme I'm going for with this area. I probably have already mentioned, but for my industrial area, the southern part of my base, where all my farms are gonna go, I'm working towards making it so it looks like a giant construction site. So basically, the theme of my industrial area is a construction site, which is why we also have this work in progress boom lift here, which I will get back to working on sometime soon. Not today, but in a future episode. For now, our main focus is the sheep farm. Now, I've been thinking about this design a lot, and something that came to my mind is the collection system of all the wool from the sheep farms. And I have already come up with a solution to that. In fact, it was one of the easiest solutions I came up with. Basically, what's gonna happen is we have this little railing platform where we can place down rails like so, and we can have a hopper minecart going all throughout the rails picking up the wool. Simple, right? But how is that going to work for all the other platforms at different elevations? Very simply, we're gonna have the rail coming out from here, and rather than using stairs, of course, we're gonna need to use full blocks to have the rails go up at a staircase. Temporarily, we're just gonna be placing this wood, so the rails are gonna go up like so, and then go all throughout the farm, collecting the wool from the platforms of the sheep farms. So the hopper minecart is just gonna keep going up. So since this platform is gonna be higher in height, taller in height, a similar thing is gonna happen. The minecart is gonna go from here, turn to the side, and then go up to where the platform is gonna go up. Same thing from this platform over to this platform. But then what's gonna happen when the hopper minecart collects all the wool, and this platform is gonna get dropped down into here and then get sent onto the rest of the railing platform. I have a couple of ideas of how we can make the hopper minecart store the items it has into a chest, but we're gonna get to that in a minute after we've put in all the platforms in place. So I'm gonna get myself a bit of scaffolding, which I already do. Where are all my materials? I barely have any, so let's go over to the chests here, and I do have a couple of shulker boxes here. And here we go. I have built up all of the platforms, and I think I'm pretty happy with how they turned out and their heights, and I think they're the suitable height for the convenience of the minecart to go around each one and of course collect all the wool. Now these spruce slabs here are under where each sheep is gonna go. And speaking of the sheep themselves, I just counted each of the holes, because of course each hole that I have dug inside of these platforms are where the observers are gonna go, and each observer counts for one sheep. So I counted them all up, and it looks like we're gonna be able to fit in 36 sheep inside of this sheep farm. Something that just came into mind is how hard it is gonna be to have the sheep come all the way up on these platforms to get placed in their positions. But it's okay, I'm up for a challenge. Now all that is left to do is place down this similar decorations like I have here in the first platform. Decorate each of the platforms and start placing in all the redstone components. And I don't have any of that, so let's go back to our shulkers. And just like that, all the redstone components are in place. And I think it's now safe to say that I got a little bit carried away. I completed pretty much the whole thing from the platforms, and I even added the railway underneath each of the platforms going all around where the minecarts are gonna go to collect all the wool that the sheep are gonna drop. So let me give you a quick brief tour of the place. As you can see, the minecart stops right here, and technically it doesn't actually stop right here. It's gonna start from this point where the hoppers are gonna go and where the storage system is gonna go. You might have seen that we have two tracks, so we're gonna have two minecart hoppers going through the system collecting all the wool. One of the hoppers starts from this point, the other one starts from here, and then they both go off together going all throughout the sheep farm going all the way up. And of course we need power rails to make sure that the hopper minecarts keep moving. So I have these little fence posts with little redstone torches powering the redstone powered rails, and I think I'm the first person to call them that, redstone powered rails. Anyways, so what happens, as I said about a billion times now, the minecart goes all throughout the system going up collecting all the wool, and then when it reaches the final platform here at the end, it hits these little blockers here, and the minecart is gonna fall down on the non-powered rails. They're gonna get emptied here on the hoppers once I place in the hoppers and start placing in the storage system, and we're gonna have the little detector machine, so whenever the hopper minecart gets fully emptied, it's gonna go off and go around the sheep farm again collecting all the wool. It's a pretty simple design, just with a lot of aesthetics to it, and I am quite proud of how this looks. It's really starting to get together really nicely. It's pretty much like 90% complete. There's still one more aesthetic feature which I'd like to add, and that is a surrounding kind of framework building around the entire farm, which is gonna be made out of stripped wood and fences, but I'm gonna get to that a bit later on, because first priority right now to completing this farm is starting to add all the sheep. Now you might have spotted Vapor has been walking around because he has offered to help me bringing all the sheep from my sheep pen over at my horse stable, and he's already going to work with it. He's got 4 sheep on his lead. I have a sheep pen here next to my horse stable because I need tons of wool to cover up the ceiling of the horse stable with carpets, but now I don't need the sheep anymore here, so we're gonna send them over to my farm over there, and that looks quite cool. I like how things are starting to build up and get higher over there at my industrial base. Anyways, now what I'm going to do is get my 44 leads which I just found in that shulker box, and I'm gonna break the sheep free, and and oh, there we go. I have all the sheep tied up now to send them over to the sheep farm and then slowly start placing them through each of the slots for the sheep. We've got one sheep in. There is the second one. Number 3. We've now transported all of the sheep we got over from the horse stable, and I managed to complete putting in all of the sheep onto the shortest platform. So that is 10 sheep already in place. And then we also have the sheep that Vapor put in over here at the tallest platform. Let's see how many he got in. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I log on the next day and find out that I have been left a little gift here. I'm gonna assume that this was Vapor and Cal because they were the ones that were here last time to help me put the sheep in their places. Well, it's a good thing that they've done that for me. Saves me the effort of having to go out and try to find some sheep elsewhere. And apparently there is a pig inside here called Bah. That will forever be the worst sheep impression ever. I think I'm too embarrassed to even include that in the video, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Enough of the distractions. I'm gonna release the sheep that are in here and I'm gonna start taking them. I'm gonna take 2 at a time and start placing them inside of their slots inside the sheep farm. Unfortunately, Bah is gonna have to go. I am never saying that again. And then we can put this last sheep in place, and that is the tallest platform filled up with sheep. We have 2 platforms left, and apparently there is already a sheep in that one. So I'm gonna transport all the sheep into their slots inside the remaining 2 platforms, then we can move on to something else. All of the sheep are inside the wool farm, and I have already added all the shears into the dispenser. As you can see clearly, the dispensers have been going to work. There's already wool on the ground, and I am just about to place down the minecart hoppers so the wool could start getting collected. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna place the first minecart, and there it goes, and it doesn't pick up all of the wool, which is what I was fearing. But hey, it just dropped down and is going right back through it again, and it's pretty fast, which is good. So let's place the second one, and there it goes. So the same thing is gonna happen with that one. It's gonna go pick up all the wool all throughout the farm and then drop down, and there we go, lands perfectly on the rail again and goes off on its way. Now, how much wool do we actually get from the farm, considering that there are losses in it? You know what, I think it's fine that the farm isn't 100% lossless. I mean, there are 36 sheep inside the farm after all, and the farm isn't exactly slow. The collection system is pretty fast, and the sheep regrow their wool quite often. So you know what, I will not mind having some wool spinning around on the platform just like so, and not have it be collected by the hoppers. I can live with some losses, especially if that means I can make beautiful farms like this one. Well, at least in my opinion, it looks beautiful. I am yet to complete it though. As I said, there's one more aesthetic feature that needs to be done, but we'll do that later on, because now that the sheep farm is fully complete, all that needs to be done is a collection system somewhere around here. I'm gonna try to make it look nice as well and fitting, and I also need to dye all the sheep red and white, because if you remember, since it's been a minute since I mentioned, we need a lot of red wool and white wool. So I'm gonna be dyeing the sheep red and white to get tons upon tons of red and white wool. In the meantime, while I do that, I'm gonna be transforming the entire construction site from the lush green you see here on the ground to dirty coarse dirt, because to be fair, construction sites aren't exactly clean, are they? With a lot of the coarse dirt in place, I can really start visualizing how the construction site is gonna come along. Even though in the grand scheme of things, there is still quite a lot that needs to be done. Thankfully, I am yet to run out of coarse dirt, plus I have crafted this new shovel here without silk touch, so all of the grass we mine turns into dirt, and I already previously gathered a lot of gravel so I can merge the dirt, the normal dirt, with the gravel to craft coarse dirt so we can use in this project. Now, since I've been around the area quite a lot, I have managed to get myself a lot of wool from the wool farm. I have 2 shulker boxes and a half of white wool and over 2 shulkers and a half of red wool, which I am now going to put to use, even though it might not end up being enough, but hey, hopefully we can manage to do something with all of the wool we have. So what I'm gonna be using all of this wool for is a delivery service, and what I'm gonna be delivering are hats. It feels weird to have 29 hats in my hotbar and just have that many laying down on the ground. But you've got to admit, they do look quite nice. So what I'm gonna be doing is building Christmas hats pretty much all around the server. Starting off with communal, and I have already finished the first one. And if you manage to make your way up to the top of communal's Christmas hat, you will be rewarded with a whole lot of hats. But of course, make sure to share. So if you don't have a Christmas hat, make your way up to here and claim one of the ones available. Now, I did say I'm gonna be delivering these all over the server and not just communal. And by that, I mean I'm gonna be paying a visit to pretty much everyone's base. Before we visit everyone's base, I just thought we'd check out the Nether Hub. So people have already started working on the Nether Hub, which is quite exciting. We have agreed on turning the Nether Hub into a huge train station, hence why we have a whole bunch of railings here made of spruce wood and a lot of anvils. This must have costed a lot of iron. And while I was coming out of the portal, I thought to myself, this would be a perfect location for another Christmas hat, because the Nether is totally the safest place to build a wool structure. But who cares, I'm still gonna do it. This one is now fully completed. Now we pay a visit to our neighbor over at the north, Mr. Crafty MC Fish. Now I've gotta say, if he just amends that little bit of terrain here at the top, this thing would be perfectly fitting. Up next we have Barry, and all we did is basically replace the top of his base with a Christmas hat. Well, that's what it looks like anyways. Our next victim is gonna be Rover, whose base I won't be showing off from the outside because of spoilers, but I will be showing off his completed Santa hat, and we might as well show off his grand windows from the inside. JLR has now become a victim. Ninten is getting the hat too, and our last victim is the Caligarian Knight. And just like that, we have used up the majority of our wool supplies. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to deliver a hat to everyone on the server, but I will be doing that in the next video as we have run out of time in this one. I'm gonna be calling it a day, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Also consider subscribing, as that would be greatly appreciated. And for now, I'm gonna see you all in the next video. Farewell, lads.